And we are live. Hello, everybody. It's been a long time that I personally did a live. I don't even remember when we last time did a live with you. So, how does it get any better than that?
How did
Hello.
I get how did I get so lucky to have a conversation with you is my point of view.
Ah, thank you. And how did I get so lucky? Is my point of view. So,
Thank you
hey.
so much. We're going to have a conversation today about, I would consider it, I'm just going to say it because I'm aware of it, and if I don't say it, it'll sit. It's probably one of the areas that we hide the most, relationship.
Yep, yep. And sorry, my voice is a little bit weird, but I'm just recovering. So how does it get any better? And all the voice comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And
Two right there that you can use for relationship. All of,
yes,
all of it's uh, tool number one, because what this Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live is about is relationship. I grew up in relationships that were extremely diminishing, disempowering, um, a lot of abuse, and a lot of financial abuse, and very little space and very little peace, you know? And so a lot of people out there, if you grew up in a home that gave you a lot of space and asked you what you required for your life to work for you and supported you, phenomenal. Our first relationships, mother and father, shape all future relationships. And so one of my this live is about you looking at what you would like to have in relationship. We have a relationship beyond normal. For this live, we're talking about, I guess, a, a love relationship, you know. Yeah, and so one of my favorite tools in creating a relationship that works, and I'm talking about a relationship with where you're present, not where you're defaulting and going into reaction and blaming the other person, is this beautiful tool. All of relationship comes to me with ease and joy and glory. All of relationship comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of relationship comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of relationship comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And
mm,
if you're out there and you haven't got relationships of ease, joy, and glory, there is nothing wrong with you. You know, you haven't done anything wrong. I would say myself and Troy came into a relationship. Um, we had a lot of fixed point of views, a lot of judgments, and when we came together, we made a choice to step into something we call in relationship done different, the five elements of intimacy, which is honor. The first is to honor, which is to hold and regard the other person and see what they require. And I have to say that that's been a journey for me. So the big message in this live is there is no right way, there is no wrong way, there is no good way, there is no bad way. It's what actually would you like to have? What do you require? And are you getting it?
yeah. And I want to underline like one of the things that you said, which was choosing, like even exploring like what works for you in relationship. And I get one of the things that challenge us the most is because most of us, the education that we got in relationship is how I can feel other person's need. How can I be right? How can I not be wrong? Like at least that was my education that I got or saw from other people. I was like, oh, if I get it right, then I would find the right woman. I would find the perfect woman for me that would make everything like in my dreams. But it just didn't work because I was constantly judging myself. I was constantly making myself wrong in the areas that I was not right, where I was not perfect. And it was all of it was this continuous diminishment instead of looking at, hey, like what works for me? Do I even desire this? Like that's and I'm super grateful for access consciousness because when I come to access consciousness, it was like, hey, like you know what works for you, like, you know. And I was like, wow. And when I really started to be with that, I was like, actually, do you know what? I don't desire most of the things that the standard that this reality offers, or the best of this reality. I was like, hey, actually, you know what? I have no interest in this. I would desire something that's completely different. And for me too, like, one of the things that was really relevant for me was the five element of intimacy, which was honor, vulnerability, gratitude, allowance, and trust. And I and these five elements is something that you start to play with yourself first. Like, if you don't have this with you, it is not possible for you to have it with anyone else. And I get that was the the beginning of what opens up the possibility for me to actually receive Rachel, because I was like, hey, like, I will have these elements with myself, and if there's actually someone that comes into my life that is going to expand these elements, that's going to even make it greater, I'm in. And if not, I'm actually happy to just be with myself.
And
And
not even adjust. Like it's like, just be it myself. Actually, I'm happy to be. I'm happy to have me. And the longest relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. We were talking to Gary Douglas, the creator of Access, last week. Do you remember this? And he said he went out on a date. This story cracks me up because I've done this so many times myself. He went out on like a date, and he found himself in the shower afterwards being like, oh, I'll have kids with her and we'll get married. And then he was in the shower and he was like, I don't even know this person.
I was like, when I heard that story, I was like, that's great, Gary, that you go to bed. Like, for me, like, the moment that I see the lady, I was just, oh my God, I would just be with her, and like, we get married. And like, I would just like go into like all of this fantasy before even like talking with her. Like, I was like, that's great, Gary.
Yeah, it's such a cute, and I've done that my whole life. And even one of the things that I'm looking at right now, when I put like, I still put expectations on people. I don't ask them like, hey, what do you require here? Does this work for you? I'm just looking at, I mean, I would say I do that a lot. And I absolutely require to go more into vulnerability and question, so that a lot of the times, particularly let's talk about family relationships. I'm staying with my daughter at the moment in Toronto, and how often do I expect someone to fulfill what we've decided they have to give us? And we don't even look at, like, do people invite you into their lives? Do they want to?
Mm.
Do they desire to have you in their lives? And if they don't, how many people, I know for me, people didn't even check, hey, where are you in this? Does this work for you? Do you enjoy this?
Yeah, it's huge. Like, I just want to like underline that as well. Like, this is huge. Like, projections, expectations, separation, judgments, and rejections in relationships. Like, I I had so many of them about like how things should be, how things can't be, and still like I come across these point of views, and I get that's one of the beautiful things, like, when you actually do have a relationship that has the five element of intimacy, that you can like become aware of these limitations, these point of views, this questionnaires, the projections, expectations, separation, judgments, and rejections. And then you can actually move beyond them. And like, one of the
Can I just say something?
can I yeah.
Yeah, no,
I just
no.
want to give an example of this as well for
Yeah.
people. And like, that was one of the projections that I had, was like, I have to fulfill every need that Rachel had in her life. And I remember like one day, like, she sent me a message, and normally like we're gonna meet, and and we were gonna meet, like we were in the same town, and they were gonna meet, and I was like, stay with her, and I'm just like, hey, actually, you know what? I have a friend staying over, and like she's gonna run my bars, and I was like, oh, like, but I should be running your bars. Like that was my projection and expectation of myself that, oh, like if Rachel needs something, if she requires to get her bars done, like I should be the person that be fulfilling that. And Rachel was like, hey, do you know what? Like we can actually like receive from different people. And the moment that she said that, I was like, wow, like this is like, and I can sense like my whole being and my body was relaxing because like how hard that you have to work to fulfill someone's need, and if is that even possible?
Yeah. I know it's what you're saying is huge. We're married, and for two people to have the point of view we talk about in Relationship Done Different, highly recommend the class if you're looking to get super clear on what you require instead of getting lost, because my pattern was to get lost in everyone else's needs, wants, and desires. And two-ness is like the two of us together. But actually, it makes no sense if you look at oneness, which is a whole world of infinite possibilities and infinite gifting and infinite receiving. How much does that limit the other person's joy? The other person's, and I'm not talking about copulation here. Copulation is when you put bodies together. I'm not talking about sex in regard to this. I'm talking about people, that's a choice whether you choose to have sex with the person that you're with. That's what myself and Troy are choosing right now. Or whether you have multiple partners, that's a choice. But I'm saying specifically, I'm not talking about this for this. What I'm talking about is going for hanging out with a friend because they give you a different energy, or having people that actually contribute to your life, having people that make your life greater, that allow you to be happier and to have more fun. And so for me, there are people in my life that I enjoy hanging out with, and I do require a lot of engagement and movement and new energies. I love that when it comes to a creation perspective. And so that's what we're talking about. And I haven't seen two people, I haven't seen that work that Troy would be, he has to respond to all my needs, or I have to respond to all his needs,
Yeah, and actually that's exactly like this. What you described was like the relationship in this reality, like when you are in especially a romantic relationship with someone, then you start to exclude everybody else, and then like when they usually do exclude everyone else, like you can see like how their life starts to get
small.
They start to get unhappy. Like,
Yeah.
of course, like, can you, like, it's like taking out a flower from the ground and putting into a vase in your house, and then taking another one and putting theirs, and now, like, there's only two flowers, and how long they would live. But if you allow them to be in the ecosystem that's actually
in a meadow.
Yeah, in a meadow, like how long that would go. And for me, that's the way that I see it. And I'm just so grateful that we can move beyond all of these, like change actually these stuck energies. Like I didn't even knew that was possible before using the tools of Access Consciousness with relationship. For me, it was like, okay, like this person will choose that, and then what I will choose. Like it was all about like trying to figure things out. But when I actually go into choose to have a relationship with Rachel and she chose me, like it was this totally different space of possibilities. And I get what we are looking to invite you here is for you to discover what is that for you. Like that's the reason
Yeah.
that we name this life as saying the choosing relationships that works for you, or creating relationships that work for you.
And you said something there. You said, is it okay to go, or did you want to say something else?
No, I think yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
You said something about figuring it out, which is trying to get it right. Actually, Relationship Done Different is about creating a relationship. And so it's about looking at what are the choices that you require for your life to work for you, and then being completely in vulnerability. And I wasn't raised to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is still something that's like, it's something that I am developing as a skill, and it is a phenomenal skill in relationship. The ability to have no barriers and not to separate. And the first person I found that I have to have vulnerability with is myself. Like yesterday I was like bored, and I said to my daughter, "Hey, I'm bored." And she was like, "So if you could plan your evening, what would you love to have? If you could choose anything, what would you love to have?" And I said to her, some outdoors, skating or snow, and then a beautiful dinner. And that's exactly what we did, And I just thought it was so beautiful. The question, if you could have anything this evening, what would you like to have? And can you imagine if we asked someone that, and then we said, "Hey, I can't deliver that for you, but I can support you in that." And then we also this thing of we have to do it together, instead of, actually, this is something that I would like to choose right now, and this is something that I would like to choose, and no separation, total vulnerability with that.
Yeah. And totally. And even with what you said, how many people will go into, when I'm just looking at this, how many people go into relationships saying, they go into the projection and expectation of, oh, this person should know what I want, or I just came here from a different country, you should be doing this. They will go into projection, expectation, separation, judgments, and rejections. And with this one, you're actually, this is a beautiful example of being vulnerable, because being vulnerable is not being a doormat. Being vulnerable is saying, hey, do you know what? I'm bored. And you were actually willing to open a possibility, and then your daughter, she was actually willing to contribute. She was like, hey, okay, so what would work for you? And then you were actually willing to tell that. I have been in so many relationships, people would just project of you should be doing this, or this should be different, and then when they expect me to find out what that is for them, instead of hey, and that is what is possible. And and it's so, I'm gonna say, simple, and at the same time is so complicated.
It's really complicated. Well, yesterday, if you look at this, she had been working early morning, 5 a.m. And so then it was I know it's not her job or responsibility to fulfill. I've got to really take total responsibility for what I would like to choose, and I had done that before that. And then this comes up, Yeah, exactly. So, myself and Troy are doing a call on, what day is it?
February 18th.
February 18th, and it's called Relationship Beyond Normal. Obviously, we have a relationship beyond normal. What is a relationship beyond normal? Is having gratitude even when you make choices that do not work for you. Actually, I would say to forgive yourself, I've done something wrong. No, I've chosen something that didn't work for me, is a massive relationship beyond normal, isn't it?
Yeah. And actually being there without making the person wrong or making you wrong is just an incredible gift. And that's one of the other possibilities that I get to really receive and be in throughout our relationship, where I would choose something that wouldn't work, and you wouldn't make me wrong, you wouldn't make me right, and at the same time you wouldn't hide what was going on. You would go, hey, this is what's up, this is not working for me. And then we would able to I would able to look at it first in my world, and then we can actually come together instead of separate. And that's I get that's one of your superpowers, is not to go into separation. And for me, that was such a beautiful energy to be present with, where that I could grow. And I was not going to be punished for what I choose if it didn't turn out, or if I actually choose something that didn't work, but I always have the possibility to choose something different. And I get that's where like really being the adult of consciousness in your relationships instead of being the child of consciousness, which is, oh, you did this, that's wrong, now I'm going to separate from you, or I'm right, you're wrong, which is again like this separation, like the projections, expectations, separation, judgments, and rejections. And it's like this is just such an huge topic.
Huge.
Like it's huge, especially like when it comes to that points like where you're so blind. I get it, because there was like so many places that I was like so blind and actually anti-conscious and unconscious. And I get that's what we would love to invite you with this class, like where you can come on, ask your questions, be vulnerable, and we can look together as like what is going on and what would it take for you to change this so you do have relationships that works for you, that contributes to your life, that expands your life and bring more lightness. And that is what I would love to invite you into.
And I would love to leave this live with a very simple message, is that we live in a universe that's not malevolent. In other words, that there's a punishment for when you choose something that doesn't work. That's what I grew up with. You made your bed, now lie in it type of psyche. Actually, we live in a magnanimous universe that truly cares for you. And most people have been, disconnected from that due to very fixed points of views about right and wrong and judgment. And so one of the things that I would really invite you guys to take a look at is, even if you choose something that doesn't work, because Troy and we will again choose that. That's one thing I know. And
I'm not perfect.
Yeah. And on
It's not perfect, and we don't expect others to be perfect, which is
yeah. And so the goal is I have learned so much by making choices, that don't work, and then I can gather information and have a new awareness. And for me, awareness is the key. This is what we're talking about. Consciousness is the presence to choose what you would like to have. If there was no right or wrong or good or bad, and you were in total allowance, which is an interesting point of view, then you can choose again and again and again. It's huge. It's big. And you're so brave, Troy. Thank you so much for being so willing to gift of your being and the generosity of your being in your journey to what works for you. And if you would like to join us on Wednesday night, and we know it was Valentine's Day yesterday, did your Valentine's Day work for you? Did you get what you require? If not, it's okay, because you can always choose again, and there is no malevolence. My heart is singing in the celebration of the tools of access consciousness and relationship done different, that I have seen miracles occur in my relationships where before there would have been separation and reaction. And the big thing, if I wasn't reacting here, what choice would I like to make?
Yep. So come join us. We'll pop the link into the comments, and I just cannot wait.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, love. See you soon. Love you guys. Well, bye, everyone. All of relationship comes to us with
ease and joy and glory. Brilliant. Bye.